EAC members, please share the lessons learned from our We Can Serve PA Regional Fall Gathering. I know the videotape of those conferences will go out to all the EAC members, but do you want to give some highlights from that? That was a full day of commitment that you gave, which was awesome. And
It's always good to network, and the particular webinars or workshops that I sat in on, what I found the most interesting was the parking spaces that you have to have for a business, which seems to be the Institute of Transportation Engineers Parking Generation Manual is the tool that's used for planners and transportation professionals, zoning boards, and others. And when you would look at the number of parking places that are required in Lower Marion Township, they have more parking places than they have parks in terms of acreage. So there's a rethinking going on, and this manual is now, they said they've changed one important word, which is, this is a recommendation, which as opposed to a requirement.
That's great.
So
that is great.
yes, right.
Well,
So-
especially because in light of shared driving services, you know, not the young ones don't drive it. They have Uber, they have Lyft, they have a variety of things in
Yes.
public transportation. So that's really good. Did they give any recommendations or any materials that we could use to share out to the community to make them aware of this? Because Steve, is there anything we can look to do that on that? Because I know a lot of times when you're, you know, I think one property you did come back and said you left a portion of a parking lot is there if it's need to be, but you didn't necessarily want it developed, I believe. Was that was a parking, a development last month, I recall, you brought that up.
Yeah, we bring that up regularly with developers. We ask them to, you know, really look at what's needed versus, you know, what our ordinance requires, but then we ask them to just leave the space for it. What I want to be careful of in the process is if we make the numbers less, but then allow people to develop more, we haven't really helped ourselves, right? So the win is when a developer doesn't build the lot number of spots that we require. So we've been doing that. I think we've done that on 3 or 4 projects over the last couple of years. And I mean, I think it's been a benefit. We've had a couple that have had to go back and actually add them later just because of the need. But in most cases, they've been turned into green space where people are, you know, doing a variety of things. One area is now a dog park instead. So there's options that are there that we continue to use. We've been I had a developer in talking about doing a project, and we actually asked him about that very thing, saying our preference would be not to build spots that you don't need today, but that you put that land and reserve it, but know that if you need it, that you can build it later.
Right.
That's great. That's good to hear, Steve.
Yeah, and Steve, you know, you do have those block alternatives where you can put the stones beneath, and then you have kind of like a cinder block that can provide grass in between, but it allows infiltration as additional alternatives. But you know, if it's an opportunity for us to help educate the community about maybe doing it on their own property, that might be something we can consider, Cindy, in the spring.
Sure.
We need to do more than we're doing, especially when we're dealing with water on our properties. And as you have said many times, stormwater management is our biggest concern in the township. So all of us need to do everything we can on our property.